Good day and welcome to yet another Burning Sports Show. I'm your host, Earl Basden, and joining me today is none other than Delray Rawlins. Delray Rawlins is a professional footballer, a professional cricketer under contract. You want to be a footballer, I know. Under contract with Sussex. Delray, your career has come together leaps and bounds. You left Bermuda as a young man, started school with a dream and an ambition. Tell us about that, the times when you first left Bermuda at such a young age, looking for what you had set your sights on to become a professional, whether it be football and or cricket.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I left pretty young with the ambition to play sport, really. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of sacrifice, obviously to leave so young, move away from my family. But I mean, in the end, as of right now, it looks like it's paid off, and I'm just thankful for my parents giving me the opportunity and everyone around me who also helped me with that opportunity.
You end up at Leeds, a school that is renowned for young people in sports, because they do a multi group of sports, but they help to mold and define people because of the special, I guess, techniques that they use both in the classroom and out on the field. Did that make it a little more easier for you when you arrived at Leeds to kind of focus in on what you needed to do, to look to make that next step?
Yeah, I think definitely. I mean, I think as soon as I got to Beats, like you said, it was like I knew exactly what I had to do in order to to get to the level of being a professional athlete. And I had some very good people around me. My coach at school, Mr. Alan Wells, former professional himself, knew what it took. I know, knows what it takes to become a pro. So it was nice to have someone like that around me. And also, my host master at the time had been working there for a very long time and had seen many athletes, professional rugby players, professional footballers come through. So, he was very helpful in and the knowledge and stuff that he passed on to me was something that I still carry with myself today.
You had the opportunity to also be driven by Clay Smith because you kind of had a connection with the family whilst there. How much pressure was he putting on you? Not just pressure, but giving guidance to helping you to understand what it took to reach that goal.
Yeah, I mean, it was guidance straight from day one. And like you said, is a very experienced guy. And it was nice to have someone like that, in your corner at the time, being so young, away from family. And yeah, he was just very supportive, along with his wife as well. As they had a son who had just, started his professional career. So it was nice to have, those sort of people around you and be able to guide you and help you, and yeah, push you to try and be the best that you can be.
You you played both sports, football and cricket. When did you decide cricket was going to be the avenue for you?
Um,
Still haven't
I
decided,
want
have you?
to. I mean, I want to say when I first got to England, pretty much, I still play football like you said, but the waking up Saturday mornings, it got colder and colder each week, so it wasn't something that really appealed to me. But no, I mean, I did the love for cricket. I think just grew. I was traveling, around the world with Bermuda, and as I came to England, the traveling it became a lot more frequent with the national team, and it was nice doing that, traveling the world and doing something that you love. And then the opportunities I felt like for cricket were bad for me. When I moved to England. So yeah, I mean, so I think soon as I moved to England, I think I sort of made up my mind. That's what I wanted to do.
You made your debut for Bermuda at the age of 15. You remember the tour? You remember the game?
Yeah, in Bermuda, at National Stadium. Um, we played against USA. We had to win, I think, to stay in Division 3. So it was a lot of faith shown in me at 15 to, play me in such a big game. But I didn't really see it that way as being, you know, quite young, probably being a little bit naive, and I just went out there and just tried to play and just do what I done best. And I managed to. I think I bowled pretty well that day. I think I got a wicket, and I bowled pretty well. So, I was quite pleased with my performance, and I think the coaching staff and the other players around me were. So, yeah, it was nice to start my, I guess you say, my Bermuda career off with a win and an important one at that.
You turn around and you play first class cricket for Sussex in 2017 county championship. How different is that, and how much of a step up and a commitment do you have to make when you start to play in county cricket?
Yeah, I mean, my debut was a big eye opener to how big the step was. You watch it and you're like, you can do it, but I think once you get there, obviously the pressure and all that sort of stuff, you're on debut and people know that, and you don't want to, get a dock on debut, and all those sorts of things. But I just try to approach it again in a similar fashion to when I made my debut for Bermuda. Just try and go there and do what you do best, and luckily, I didn't get a dock. I think I was off the mark pretty quickly, which was a bit of a relief. But no, I enjoyed it. And I played 2 games in 2 weeks. One against Knots. Man, we actually played against basically a test attack, and they had James Pattinson from Australia, Stuart Broad plays for England, Jake Ball who's played in and around the England team at that time. So that was an even bigger eye opener to see where the county level is to where the international level was. But it was, again, I was thankful that I had that opportunity so young and so early in my career, because it showed me where I was as a player. And it was a nice lesson to hear, like I said, so young. So yeah, I mean, it was a step up, definitely, but it was a nice step up and a nice eye opener.
Take us through your approach once sitting in the pavilion and knowing you're next, and then one of the players get out and you have to take that walk out to the wicket. What goes through your mind from the walk out to taking your guard?
I'm pretty relaxed. With my preparation before I go to bed. I'm normally walking around the change room. You obviously we have screens in the change room where you can watch what's going on out in the middle from behind the bowler's arm. So I'll be watching that, just talking with my teammates, and a little bit of talk about cricket, but outside stuff as well. But yeah, once someone gets out, me personally, I initially get those little butterflies. But as soon as I put my helmet and my gloves on, I have a couple of taps, and I try and find like a mirror or a door that reflects, and just play a couple of strokes in it. And that's sort of a pre-routine for me, and just tries to get me going the right way. And the walkout is just quite often I find myself singing music, singing a song, looking around in the crowd, just trying to keep myself as relaxed as possible. And then yeah, I just get to the crease, take my guard, and it's game on from there.
Yeah. You've kind of in England you play various forms of the game, and it must be difficult to change gears, because you go from a format of T20 to a 4-day to sometimes a 2-day. How do you adjust to the transition, because it's different styles and different approaches to those formats of the game, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, most definitely. I mean, that's where the best players in the world are the best players in the world. They know how to, not necessarily changing your game, but a lot of the time it's your tempo. You know, how you play. You know, T20 is obviously a lot more fast paced. Maybe a few more shots that you'll play. But you know, we have a reasonable amount of time in between games and formats to you know, fine tune little things. You know, it's definitely a big jump going from T20 back to the longer format of the game, but you know, like I said, the basics still apply, and yeah, your game is still basically structured the same way. You know, you might put a few more shots away in the longer format of the game, but just trying to maintain that the same mindset that you have in T20. You know, for me, it's keep being positive. You know, whether I'm leaving the ball, I'm trying to hit it for six, just keep being positive. But um, you know, just be more disciplined, maybe, I think, in the longer format of the game. And you know, like I said, it's just making that switch and knowing what gears to go through in different formats.
You get selected to travel to India with the England under-19 team. You get over there and you have a remarkable time in the middle as well as with the ball. But you remember the 107 not out off of 88 balls?
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting one, because we actually started very well, um, and then we got in a little bit of trouble. And when I came to the wicket again, I just tried to take that positive mindset and that positive approach into my batting, and I got away with one early. I think the keeper missed a stumping off me, which not many people knew. But it's okay to share now because it was what, 5 years ago or so now. So yeah, I think I got away with one, you know, reasonably early, and from then on, I just tried to knuckle down myself and the captain, Matt Fisher, at the time. Um, we just said, look, let's try and take it as deep as possible, and you know, just try and bat through, really, because there's not much behind us in terms of, you know, proper proper batters. You know, there's a lot of bowlers behind us who can bat as well, but you know, the main batters were really going. So yeah, we just tried to take it deep, and the deep end, as memories, you know, the deeper we got, the more boundaries came. The more frustrated the Indians got, the more loose deliveries we got, and we capitalized. You know, we were both really fit. Running between the wickets wasn't an issue for us. We were basically just running them rugged, and we walked off the field with a total that we were happy with. But you know, it was nice to get 100 myself. I didn't actually know I was on 100 until I one of the reserves came on and he said, "Do you want to know what you're on?" And when he said that, I kind of thought I was close. You know, I thought he was going to say 99, but he said 98. And so I was like, you know, just next couple of balls, I was really just trying to get to 100 because we still had, I think, 2 or 3 overs left to you know, capitalize on. But I got a short ball, and I hit it too hard actually to the fielder, so I couldn't get back for two. But the next over, I managed to get it, and yeah, it was a very nice feeling. But you know, at that stage, I still, you know, the job wasn't done. We still had a couple more overs to get runs off, and we done pretty well and walked off, like I said, with a total that we are happy with.
Yeah, you turn around and you build well, claiming 2 wickets in that match, but then a couple of days later, you score 96 off of 100 odd balls. The form, you must have felt as if things were going very well for you. Did the Indian wickets fit to how your style of play is that allowed you to bat how you wanted to bat?
Yeah, I mean, I was hitting the ball as well as I probably hit it, you know, in my short career so far. I was lucky enough to work with one of the best, you know, coaches around the circuit right now, and Mark Rampakash. You know, me and him got on really well, and developed a pretty good relationship. So, you know, that just improved my training, and you know, my level of confidence went up a lot more. You know, working with him and the way I was hitting the ball. And yeah, I mean, you know, again, I was just trying to be as positive as possible. Take take the attack back to them. Obviously they were up in a boat. It was 1-0 in the series. They had just beat us, in the second ODI. So yeah, I just tried to play my natural game, and like you said, the wickets were very good. The outfields were fast. Um, so it suited my game down to a T, I think. There was a lot of spin build, and my game plan to spin I felt was nailed on, and it was so clear. And I knew exactly, how I wanted to go about scoring runs. So, that helped me a lot really, to go bigger and bigger. I was very annoyed to miss out on getting another 100. Not no one else's fault but myself. Um, but I'll take 96 over 10 any day, any day. So yeah, I was still quite pleased to get to 96.
Which one was more pressure, going to bat in India or going to bat in Somerset for St. George's at Cup match?
Um, I would definitely say going to bed in India. Because at the time, cup match in when I played a cup match, we were actually in a pretty good position. OJ was, I think, 50 or 60 not out, and I didn't really have any pressure on myself. So I just played normally, and yeah, and it was nice to get runs. I was actually more nervous in the second innings than in the first. Funny enough, but yeah, I would say definitely going to bed in India.
Your one and only cup match. What is the biggest memory you take from that and carry with you today?
Um, Being able to share getting 50 with my family on the field, I think, um, something you see all the time, people running on the field and congratulating people. But yeah, being able to share that moment, on the field with my family, because leading up to it, my daddy was adamant that I was gonna get 50. And obviously my mom and my sisters and everyone, like probably my biggest supporter. So it was nice to be able to share that moment, with them on the field.
Yeah. You've played quite a bit of cricket in England, having the opportunity, even if it's once or twice, I believe that you shared the field with another Bermudian, Kamal Levrock. You guys played against each other in a match. How much of an enjoyment is it, although you're in a competition, that you see another Bermudian, on the opposite side of the field for you or against you, that you're in another place playing the sport that you love?
Yeah, I mean, it brings a smile to my face. I was happy when the fixture list came out and I was able to play against him. Um, as we're very, very good mates. Like very, very close. Speak to him all the time, and yeah, it was nice to, like you said, be able to compete against someone that you played a lot with. Um, and it was just nice to see him doing well. He actually got me out at the time, which I wasn't very happy about, but that's how the game goes. But no, it was nice to see him doing well, and I was hoping that he would just do as well, if not better than me, on the day. He was playing against me, but yeah, like you said, it was a nice feeling to see my fellow Bermudian on the other side of me, and hopefully one day maybe we can be playing together.
You had such a breakout year in the Blast with helping Sussex get to the finals, a few years ago. Those matches that you were kind of, highlighted in, you seem to be zoned right in right from the start. Obviously, if you got out cheap, we didn't see it as much. But was that your time that you felt, It's my time, it's my turn to lead, it's my turn to be the leader of this team, and try to get them to the finish line?
Yeah, I mean, again, that was a point in my career where I felt like I was hitting the ball like really well. I was scoring runs in the second team, consistently in T20 and the longer format. And I was training really well. I was obviously the next batter in, at the time. So from the coach was just like, look, you keep doing, those sorts of things, then I have no other choice but to pick you, really. And we had started well, won a couple games, but then we went through a little patch where we struggled. And our batters weren't really getting the starts and going on to get the runs that we would have liked, which happens in cricket. Obviously, not anyone's like fault. I would say it's just that's how cricket goes. But then, once I just kept saying to myself, once you get that opportunity, just cash in. And I was lucky enough to get the opportunity at Lords, which within itself was made the occasion more nerve-wracking than anything. But no, again, at that stage, it was just strictly business. I zoned out really. I just forgot I was playing at Lords. Once I got out in the middle, once I'm walking out, turn around, look at the pavilion, and all the history that comes with it. But once I got to that moment, I had to put all that behind me, and I focused in on the task at hand, and it was nice to get runs and show that I can play at that level. But then, yeah, I mean, I had to continue that on, and it was nice to be able to do that throughout the tournament.
When you're sitting in the change room, obviously you're sitting with players from all over the world that are starters in their national teams and starring for their countries. Can that be a bit intimidating at some time? Because you train with a lot of these guys as well. Well, obviously for Sussex, but then when you're playing against other teams, they are stacked with internationals from all over the world. So can that be sometimes a little starstruck?
I wouldn't say starstruck. I mean, like you say, there's a lot of stars in our team, also. But yeah, I mean, I just try and look at them as an opponent. Again, they were on the same field, so I don't feel like he is that much better than me. Even though he's playing international cricket, I think that's just the mindset I tried to take into playing. But as you say, that they're superstars, and is a reason why they play on that stage and they play at that level. But it's nice to play against them to see where you're at again, and it's nice to be able to get the experience against them because a lot of the time you don't get to because they play so much international cricket, and yeah, they're not with the countries all the time. But yeah, it's nice to get that opportunity against, especially when you play against, big stars and big batsmen and fast bowlers and stuff. And it's nice to get runs against them. So yeah, I mean, every time I play against someone a big star with a label, it's nice to say you played against them, but also doing well against them is probably the main objective.
You've appeared in several videos where six balls trying to get X amount of runs against a bowler. How much fun is it when you're up against the opponents you've been up against? Because one of them was Jaffa.
Yeah, I mean, those sort of challenges are fun because it actually sometimes helps me with my actual game to try and think about what the bowler's gonna do to try and have to say it on a camera. But no, it's always good fun to do it against some big stars. I've done it against Fidel. Within himself, his record speaks for itself. But obviously to do it against Joff was nice. We had actually spent the whole day together that day. I think we had training that morning, so I probably had faced him that morning in training. But yeah, I mean, obviously again we're very close. So I kind of knew how he was thinking, but I was just more worried about him bowling short at me at the time, really, because the helmet that I had on wasn't the safest. But no, yeah, I mean, like I said, it actually helps my game really, to try and think what they're gonna do and actually have to say it out loud. But he's very skillful, and he kind of showed it on the video, and I probably pinched a couple of more runs than I would have normally, but it was good fun.
You watched Jaffa bowl the biggest over of his career thus far in assisting England to become the ICC Cricket World Champions. knowing him, and after the first ball, which was a wide, what were your thoughts for that over?
Well, yeah, we were watching it. We had just finished our day's play in Old Trafford, actually, Manchester. So we had all gathered around in the like cafeteria eating area to watch on the TV. Um, and the first ball, it wasn't a wide, but it was called a wide. But I don't think it was a wide. It was a perfectly ruled Yorker. Um, but to see him come back and defend the total, especially after being hit for six, it just showed, his skill, but also where his mental was at the time, to be able to just do that. I think everyone forgets that he's so young as well, he's 23, 24. And to be able to do that at such a young age and keep your cool like that. As you saw after the first ball, he was very frustrated after the wide. I think there's a story where he actually asked if he can review the wide or something. So he was pretty annoyed, and tried to use the review system, to review the wide. But I mean, yeah, the skill was there. I mean, I said to him afterwards, I actually called him right after and spoke to him for about 5 minutes. And the best ball that he bowled, which was the gutsiest ball, was when he bowled the bouncer. I think it was the fourth ball of the over or something. That was probably the gutsiest ball. But for him to do that and execute it so well just shows how good he is as a player.
Yeah, he comes back to you guys. Obviously now more focus is put on Sussex, although you guys are a big club. More focus is put on because now you've got the England hero in your lineup, and you also have other players who are knocking on that England door that even went to India with you. How much more attention is put on Sussex every time you guys go out to represent?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, we don't feel the pressure within itself, within our camp really, but I guess the media attention around us, like you say now with Joffrey and guys like CJ and Tamal and Laurie Evans and Phil Salt, those sorts of players. I think obviously there's a little bit more media attention around us, but I guess it's nice. We play a little bit more TV games. But no, yeah, the boys don't really feel that any added pressure. It's just always about going out and doing the job. And the last couple of years, especially in T20 cricket, we've been doing that really well. I think we lost 2 games last year in the whole competition, making it to the quarterfinals. So yeah, I mean the boys just go out and just try to play, and they do it excellently.
What's the latest you've heard of a possibility of playing any county cricket this year?
Um, I've heard that August 1st is confirmed. It's been passed through the health guidelines and all sorts. I've heard, that and it's come about that August 1st is confirmed. So, yeah, it looks like we'll be starting August 1st, which is exciting. Not too sure about formats and how it's going to work, but yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully, you know, we can do well, and if there's a trophy to be held, we can try and pick it up.
How have you been staying in shape in preparation to get back to England to try and claim a spot in this team?
Yeah, I mean, at first it's been tough with the whole lockdown isolation thing, but been kicking over, reasonably well lately. Been my good mate Stephen Alderbridge. Me and him have been working, the last week or so, on some skills, and also just been training together, sort of fitness wise. But yeah, I think if I just go back in as fit as I can be, I think the skills will sort of take care of itself.
All right. Well, we want to wish you all the best, and hopefully you do get started August 1st and get some runs on that bat that makes you another candidate for a leading scorer for your club and helping them to advance to whatever tournaments they have for the remainder of 2020. I want to thank you for your time. I do appreciate it.
Thank you. No, thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, folks, do enjoy the rest of your day.